feminine and he's trying to show off, but if he doesn't dress well enough and he doesn't show off and he dresses average, then he looks
to them. We see how you like and share and comment on them, and we see the hatred and the misandry you all display on them.
Women are losing their mind because the attention is disappearing. The game has changed. Comment if
date honestly, especially if you don't have your figured out. Because I know a lot of men see a lot of these ultra successful men going.
Leave us alone to approach. It's like ping pong going back and forth and they can't decide which one to do. So they just completely quit the game.
Many men are voluntarily opting out of traditional dating to focus on personal goals. And I understand this 100%. This economy is nothing to make a joke about. And dealing with dating within this economy and how both sides do think about it, especially with the 50-50 and the independent woman, topic. It's kind of like just not worth it to date, honestly, especially if you don't have your figured out. Because I know a lot of men see a lot of these ultra successful men going into marriages, end up getting in a divorce, dealing with child support, and they apparently look like they have all their figured out, and then come to find out they're in the same boat. So the question to most men is like, is it really worth it? Like, I'm gonna sacrifice all of this for what? Especially with the mindset of modern women today, it's just not good. You might as well just focus on yourself.
1,000 single women showed up to a church singles event, and only like 20-30 men showed up.
At this point, I don't understand why anyone is still surprised over this. Between the drizzle movement and the bear versus the man argument, and the general huge amounts of men that have been speaking out about how marriage and relationships are just not worth it, and that dating is only ever worth it if you end up finding a unicorn where she's like putting in effort just like you are. With all of that very much known, it is no surprise that men are rather staying home, keeping their peace, chilling, working, or ignoring people.
I've given up dating and pursuing women, and I think more men should do the same. I haven't given up out of hopelessness. I've given up out of clarity. And no, it's not because this isn't a coming out video, but that'd be really funny if it was. I've deleted the apps. I've stopped chasing, and instead I've become completely obsessed with building the life that I actually want to live. My music, my businesses, my health, my home, my son, my purpose, the things that actually set my soul on fire. And here's what I've realized. That obsession brings me more fulfillment than any relationship ever has. I wake up genuinely excited about what I'm building, and there's something that feels so deeply right about a man who knows exactly what he's here to do and just does it. So that's the work right now. Not becoming perfect, just focus on being whole, because the version of me that I'm embodying doesn't need a woman to feel complete. I'm already full. So when I meet someone next, I want there to be zero part of me looking for her to fulfill something in me. No neediness, no quiet desperation dressed up as romance. I want to show up already overflowing, and whatever we share is just extra. It's a bonus, pure joy on top of an already great life. That's the kind of love I actually want to experience. And I believe you can only really have that when you've done the work on yourself first. So that's exactly where I'm at. My focus is on being the best me, and I trust that the rest will follow.
Look at certain women and say it's over for you. Which women is it over for first? Masculine women, it is over for you. These men don't want any part of a public relationship with a masculine woman. They don't want any part of a relationship with a woman who is going to compete with them for supremacy in the relationship. Meaning, if you categorize yourself as a boss chick, a bad chick, all this other kind of stuff, for marriage, it is over. And what am I saying? I said at the beginning of the year, I'm going to be focusing like a laser on the years between 30 and 40 years old. Because it's you ladies who are going to have to really understand where you're at. You still have options, but you're running out of time. But I'm going to talk about the kind of men that you focus on, that you want. And I'm going to let you know whether or not they likely want you. This is why so many professional women have a problem with me, because I openly tell them that the kind of men they think they should be aligned with don't want them. Now, it doesn't matter whether I'm telling the truth or not. All they have to do is look at their phone, look at their DMs or their emails, and they don't have these men trying to holler at them. They don't. So, boss chick, bad. If you think what Lizzo and Cardi B and Meg Thee Stallion and all that, they don't want you. You know what they want? These men want Beyonce.
Nobody has the balls to say this, but it's important. This is the number one problem with Western marriage today. If a judge can seize your assets, freeze your accounts, and cage you for non-compliance, why is only one side enforceable? See, you're compelled to provide, you're compelled to protect, and you're compelled to pay for infinity. She can withdraw affection, withdraw intimacy, withdraw everything, and the state still shows up for her with. Why isn't intimacy mandatory? That's state-backed asymmetric. Men are bound by law, but women are just bound by their moods. If only one side can be punished, marriage is just a trap enforced at gunpoint and dressed in vows.
Women, we can be control freaks, right? We can also have this idea of we want things done our way, whether it's the way the dishwasher is loaded, the way the towels are folded, the way the kitchen counter is, wiped down, the way, whatever it is, the way the car is pulled into the garage, the way the groceries are loaded into the car. I can go on, and we all have this in us. Ladies, if you're honest with yourself, you will say, yes, I'm extremely picky. I demand perfection because I have an inflated sense of ego at times, and I think I'm doing everything the right way. It becomes my way or the highway, and you emasculate the guy by saying you're doing it wrong, right? He goes to load the dishwasher because, he's trying to be helpful and he's doing it wrong. He goes to, do whatever. Laundry comes out, he folds a couple of towels and you're like, oh, you roll them in a ball. Don't do that. Forget it. Just let me do it, right? Be honest. Guys have lived this reality over and over and over again. And what it creates is a guy who's emasculated, but also a guy who says, well, screw you. I'm not doing anything.
I honestly think that these modern women feel like men are playing around. The men are actually done. Like, they feel like men are going to be around forever. But men are not dating. Men are not pursuing. They're not spending money. They're not chasing. I don't think modern women really truly understand that a lot of these brothers out here have just completely opted out. Like, literally.
Oh, go get my Amazon packages. They just got here. Oh. Hey, babe, do you mind grabbing my Amazon packages for me, please? Thank you. Why is everything a mess? Why do I always have to be the one to clean up? Why do I always have to tell you, hey, the house is dirty, maybe we should clean it? Oof. Hey, babe, do you mind helping me clean the living room? Thank you.
When a man is checking out of the relationship, he doesn't walk away, he doesn't just leave, but there will be signs. And as your big brother, Jake, I'm going to tell you what these signs are because it breaks my heart. Like, it pisses me off that so many women don't have someone to explain to them how a male's mind works until it is too late. When a man is checking out, the first sign is the communication dies off. He takes hours to respond. He stops initiating conversations, the little phone calls, the little good morning texts. And the second sign is he starts making excuses for his behavior and his lack of effort. Listen, nobody is busier than a man that is no longer interested in you. And the third sign that happens is he becomes distant and cold. He's not affectionate like he used to be. He doesn't go out of his way for you like he used to be. He stops being a gentleman the way he's supposed to be. And he acts like everything he has to do for you is now a chore. And this whole process can be so mentally exhausting. And the worst part is there's no amount of begging, of tears, of arguments that is going to change his heart if this is already taking place. If it takes your absence for him to see your worth, then that tells you everything you already need to know.
Men are no longer desperate for women. They're focusing on their peace, their purpose, their money. And some women are losing their mind because the attention is disappearing. The game has changed. Comment if this speaks to you. Share to remind someone. Follow Claudia Funeral Truth For more truth, people are afraid to say.
Okay, so I just saw a post out here on TikTok land that stated that 80% of men no longer desire to date. 80%, that's closer to 100%, okay? And I would say to go out and research it on your own to find out if in fact it is true. My question then is posed to women. What do you do with that? Because even though 80% of men no longer desire to date, do they also no longer desire to have sex? Because and a woman's responsibility to protect her honor in terms of having sex. Now, as for me, I'm at the age where I don't care, okay, because I don't have to date, I don't have to be in a relationship, but there are women out here who are still in their childbearing age and they may want to marry, they may want to be in a relationship, right? They may want to date. My question is posed to those women. What do you do with that information? Because remember, just because they no longer desire to date doesn't mean that they don't have a desire to still have.
So I unblocked him and I talked to him and I said, like, I don't like that you said, like, what do I bring to the table? And the reason why is because if you don't see what all value I bring to the table, if any at all, then that means that you don't see me as someone that's worth it or valuable to you. And it's funny because I recently saw a TikTok of another guy talking about this where he says, like, when guys buy, like, the Nike shoes, like, they don't get the Nike shoes and bring it to the register and say, like, what value do these shoes bring to my life? Like, why should I buy these right now? You know, they don't ask.
No, we don't ask what value Nike brings to our life because Nike is an established brand that has a reputation of being good quality at a decent price. Brother, we don't know y'all. When we are going on a date and we ask what value do you bring to the table, it's not supposed to be an offensive question. We don't know you. We're trying to figure that out. For you to compare yourself to Nike would mean that he should already know what value you bring based on your reputation. But if we don't know you, how the supposed to know that? This goes back to like women thinking we're mind readers. Like, if it's a first date and we ask, okay, if your expectations are I pay for everything, what are you gonna do in the relationship? That's all we're asking. Why is that such a hard question to answer? Like, it's actually insane to me that y'all get so butthurt over that question because you literally ask every single man you go on a date with the exact same question. What's your income? Are you gonna protect me? All these questions that you're asking men on dates are what are you bringing to the relationship? But we're not allowed to ask the same question? And y'all wonder why we've given up on dating.
Now, I might be toxic for saying this, but y'all let me know. You know how there's women out there who want men who are 6 feet, make 6 figures? That's just their preference, right? But then the dudes who want women who already come feminine, who prefer them in shape, not overweight, low body count, they call that body shaming and being insecure and not man enough because you don't know how to put a woman in her feminine. Isn't that a double standard? Or am I tripping? Because both to me sound like preferences, but one side gets judged for their preference and the other side is supposed to be embraced and well deserved. I'm kind of confused. Why don't men deserve their preference? But y'all let me know. I'm gone.
Once again, you see, you have 60%, 63% of young men single, and not even looking. Not even looking. They're not looking for women. And that's what you hear a lot of these women saying. Well, the men are not even pursuing. They're not even looking. They act like they don't even like me. Yeah. There's nothing to like. I mean, we can look at the Houston rodeo for that. There's nothing to pursue out there.
I tell guys all the time, you need to have multiple chicks that you're dealing with. Not necessarily because you want to deal with them, but because it keeps you having an abundance mindset so you don't come off needy. Because needy behaviors, a lot of the times, you don't even notice it. Like, it's very subtle, right? But when you don't give a it's a very natural and relaxed feeling that women can pick up on. Women are very hypersensitive to body language and to mannerisms and to tonality and how you speak. So when you're a guy that has bitches, women know it immediately by how little you care. That actually makes you way more attractive. And women cannot teach you that. That's why I always say female dating coaches are retards, because they don't understand things like that, like pre-selection. They'll sit there and tell you, just be nice to her, be monogamous. You know what I mean? But in reality, being monogamous actually makes you less attractive to a bunch of women. Now, am I sitting here saying go f a bunch of girls? No. But your girl needs to know that you can do it and you reserve the right to do it if she acts up.
Yeah.
Women only behave when they know they can be replaced. They're terrible people when they have leverage. Absolutely terrible people. Because they don't know how to appreciate it. Because they get all this attention and validation all day from fucking simps. So they don't respect the majority of men. So you have to make that bitch respect you. And the only way you make her respect you isn't through is through being able to walk away. It's the only way that you're going to get women to respect you. So I tell guys all the time, look, you want to be monogamous? Fine, but don't be and let her think that she's the only option. Because that's when the disrespect comes. That's when she thinks that she could talk to you crazy. And that's when she thinks she has the leverage. And when women have leverage, they're terrible people.
Thanks for tuning in. If you've stuck around this far, remember to give the video a like and hit that follow button for future updates. Don't hesitate to drop your thoughts in the comments section below.
Baby, let me tell you something. If your woman has not been spontaneous or with you in a long period of time, what you consider a long period of time, then you have two options. You can cheat on her ass or leave her and go rock with a woman that's gonna give it to you on the regular. You see what I'm saying? You heard it here first. Yeah.
Do you ever notice how quickly men switch up when they decide that they don't want you anymore? Like, you are seeing a completely 180 different side of them. And the one thing about men is that they are very selfish and they will always put their feelings first. For example, a woman will stay in a relationship until she's like, you know what, this isn't working. I have tried everything. But a man will wake up on a random Tuesday and in 5 minutes make a decision that he doesn't want to date you anymore. He doesn't want to be with you anymore. All those years, poof, simply because he didn't like the way that he felt in the moment, and they react on how they feel in that moment versus really thinking it through. My point is, men are very selfish creatures, and they will switch up on you when they decide that they don't want you anymore.
Why are so many men quietly walking away from modern dating? I'm not talking about men who hate women or men who gave up on relationships completely. I'm talking about normal, hardworking men who simply decided the game doesn't feel worth playing anymore. And for many of them, dating today feels confusing. The expectations are high, the rules keep changing, and sometimes it feels like no matter what a man does, whether he focuses on his career, his character, or his stability, it's still somehow not enough. Add social media into the mix, constant comparisons, and unrealistic standards, and suddenly relationships start to feel less like partnership and more like competition. So some men look at all of that and make a simple decision. Instead of chasing validation, when they focus on their purpose, their work, their peace of mind, and the life they're building.
Women say they want to be wives, but I'm sorry, that is not true. What women really want is the experience of marriage. The ring, the wedding, the pictures, the lifestyle, and the status that comes with saying, I have a husband. And that is completely different from actually understanding what it means to be a wife, isn't it? A woman who truly wants to be a wife thinks completely different. She is not just asking, what can this man give me? She's asking, what can we build together and what can I provide him? A woman looking for a husband, on the other hand, is focused on what she can get, what kind of life he can provide, what his income is, what his lifestyle can give her, how can he upgrade her life. But a woman who wants to be a wife is thinking about what she can bring to a man's life, which is what? Loyalty, peace, support, stability, emotional maturity, and the ability to stand behind him when life gets hard, because it will, not just when life is comfortable. And as you can see, a woman who is looking for a husband and the woman who is looking to be a wife, they're not the same woman. And a smart man learns early on how to spot that difference. He can feel when a woman wants to build a life with him and when a woman is simply wanting a life from him. And to be honest, I'm sorry guys, gotta call you out too. Men have a responsibility too. A man who lacks discipline, direction, leadership, and character has no business asking a woman to commit to her either. The problem that I see is that most people, they want the benefits of marriage, right? But very few people are actually preparing themselves for the role that comes with it because it's serious.
Once again, men a lot of people don't like to give men credit for it, but men are quick learners. You spend enough money, you get burned enough times, you're going to stop volunteering to do it. I remember, I think Santiago the Wiz saying something like, women, a lot of these modern women are complaining that they have to get ready, get dressed up, and go to the date, right? And it's not pleasurable. It's not an enjoyable experience for them. And he said, yeah. Now imagine having to do the same thing as a man, but then having to pay for it. Exactly.
So this guy that's been trying to take me out finally picked a day. And so I was like, okay, well, what time and where? And he said, well, I don't know. Do you like coffee? Now, on a scale from 0 to 10, 10 being super big, 0 being no big at all, can I respond never on a first date?
This is the exact attitude that is honestly exhausting for men. My honest advice is to please show this attitude off as soon as possible to the men that you're speaking to, because at least then they will have an honest take of who you are as a person and how it would be to be in a relationship with you. And then at least that man will be free to either just focus on his own peace or find somebody else to focus on.
Whenever men say that they have given up on love, they're not saying that they hate women. They're just saying that they really put a lot of their commitment and love and respect into a relationship just for it to not work out. So instead of jumping into another relationship, he's really trying to figure his life out and build himself as a person. Because why is he going to waste his time in another relationship if he doesn't know if he will truly be sure about being in one? Follow me.
They'll be like, he would be a great provider, he'd be this, he'd be that, and I'll keep him around till we're in our 30s, and if there's nobody else around who's good looking, right, hey, I'll settle with him. That's fine. You know what I mean? He can be that guy. But what happens when it's an attractive guy who also happens to be a piece of shit? Well, just like men, they're probably going to select for the attractive guy.
I'm not disagreeing. What I'm saying is, so give you an example. I know a story of a woman who was a side piece, okay, to a very successful man, all right?
I swear, the real detective is them boy. Y'all be thinking they don't be watching because they don't be saying nothing. They be knowing everything. They know the date, the location, who you was with, where you was at the second, all that. The difference is with us, we run our mouth when we find out. They don't. They build their Rico case on you. You think he cut you off because you ain't answer your phone that one time. No, he cut you off because he know we're really happy December 23rd.
When I tell you I find out everything, and not even necessarily because I go looking, information just finds me. Tell me why I know one of the shorties I used to talk to started escorting him. Tell me why I know how much he charged. I never went looking for this information. Yes, that's happened to me before, but I never went looking for this information. I know how much shorty charged. I know how she got that car she in. I know how she got that place that she in. I know when she do it, how she do it, the site she be on, how she be meeting, know what I'm and all that. Did I go looking for that information? No, but the information finds me. I'm an information broker. I don't even got to try to find it. It's going to find me. You probably wondering how you even know it's accurate, because the source, I can't say too much, but bro, the source is at the source. Every time a woman has ever done me wrong, I found out exactly what she did. Not even because I went looking for it, because the information found me.
I asked a bunch of girls, when was the last time a man approached you at a bar and started talking to you? And I thought this was just me thing, but they were all like, no, it hasn't happened in, I can't even tell you how long, like before COVID. And I thought that was a me experience. I was like, okay, maybe I give off like a standoffish vibe. I don't know. I don't think so. But no, they all agreed. They're like, I can't tell you the last time a man tried to talk to me at a bar. A man tried to offer to buy me a drink. Do men still do that? Men, can you weigh in? And I don't even need the drink, but like the last time, and I'll go up and talk to guys, but like can someone explain?
Ladies keep asking this, but when are you going to realize that there are consequences to your words and actions? It's because men would rather keep to themselves than to be called a creep, or at the very least be publicly embarrassed, or at worst be accused of something. A lot of women do not realize that because of social media, a lot of young men believe that women despise them. Between the 4B movement, the it's all men until no men, and picking the bear over the man, because of this, most of them assume that women genuinely want nothing to do with them.
Some men aren't avoiding relationships, they're avoiding complications. Here's a conversation that's happening more and more quietly. Some men are saying dating feels like a negotiation. Time, money, expectation, emotional investment. And for some guys, the math starts looking strange. Because if the goal is companionship and intimacy, they ask themselves, why go through months of uncertainty, effort, and mixed signals when they can just pay for the experience with clear boundaries? Now, this isn't about judging anyone, it's about asking uncomfortable questions. Are some men walking away from dating because the modern dating environment feels transactional anyway?
And once again, we're going to continue to get, where are all the good men at? What happened to the single men? What happened to the hot guys? What happened to the alpha males, the men that wanted to approach? At the house, once again, at the house, unbothered, living a great life, living a life drama-free at the house.
No shade, no tea, but y'all, tell me why somebody invited me on a date, right? So I done did my makeup, put my outfit on. They said we going to a basketball game. Let me show y'all where the they got me sitting there. I done left their ass. I'm sitting in a whole nother seat because I don't even give a like, why would you even play with me like that? Y'all, do y'all see how high I am? Okay. And they keep texting my phone talking about where you at, where you at. Don't worry about it, sweetheart. I'm finna find me another date. These motherfuckers finna play musical chairs, dog. I'm finna just make this the best out this shit, y'all. They playing some basketball musical chairs. Now I'm finna show y'all what they doing.
One seat remaining. One seat remaining.
Okay. And they lucky I took some motherfucking shots before I came in this. Otherwise, you feel me? But it's okay, y'all. When I tell y'all I came with somebody, I'ma leave with somebody else. Now I'm finna go get me some food from somewhere. I don't know where I'm gonna get some food from, y'all, but we gonna get us something. Something smell good. Now I'm ordering some food, y'all, because...
Is that all you want, just the regular?
Yeah, the chicken tender basket. They don't have... Oh, they do got drinks. Can I get, lemonade? This shit look like it's good, though. I can't even cap on it. Now I'm over here getting sauces for my because, yeah. 54, eating hibachi. Cute, though. Not gonna lie. Not gonna lie. Not gonna lie. Okay. Whoa. And just to clarify, this is not the girl who been doing stuff for me on TikTok. This is not her. My booski would never, ever do this. Okay? Just to clarify.
Y'all hate men when they're like perverted, which is obviously valid. But then you hate a man for wanting a woman to respect herself. Out of all things, this man could have asked her to take her top off. He didn't. He asked her to pull it up to cover her cleavage. Y'all literally hate men for lusting over y'all 24/7. This man is doing the opposite and you still hate him. It's like y'all want to be miserable.
Well, the shortest and most correct answer to the question, when did men stop coming up to women? Well, it was about the same time that women started asking them to stop.
Because, listen, I witnessed nothing. Nothing but standards. King energy. And there's no further point to make but this. If your person doesn't swerve oncoming traffic with absolute caution, with the emphasis on the stank eye, they're not your person. They're every person's person.
I love what you're trying to do here. Totally respect it. However, I actually researched this video, and the guy popped up in the comments, and he is single. No woman claims him. He just doesn't like easy women. Again, I'm not clowning this woman. I think her point stands very, very much so. But I just want to point out that men can swerve women without being in relationships. Believe it or not, that is not a taken man. That is just a man with, like you put it, king energy and standards.
Stop stunting and wilding in front of your friends like you trying to win an award. Your homegirl laughing, but if it was her man, she'd snatch that phone up and say, bet. This right here is why you single, playing games and putting your man on blast like he a joke. Real ones know when to lock it down.
A bit unfair. I'm so over waiting. Like, when is it gonna be my turn? What did I do wrong?
The thing is, I don't even want to be getting married or having kids right now, but I'm just starting to get nervous. What is wrong with me?
And this is the result of men giving.
That video I just showed you has over 200,000 likes, not to mention thousands of comments from other women just trashing men. Pun intended. And women wonder why men are done, why they're walking away, why they want nothing to do with them anymore. And let's be clear, it is indeed all women. Why? Because I went through the comments on that video and there wasn't a single woman, not one, who called it out for the toxicity it is. Not one woman said, this isn't right. Not one woman came to the defense of her son, her father, her husband, her brother. Nope. Every single woman was cheering it on, supporting it, and in most cases adding their own toxicity to the dog pile, which tells you all you need to know about how today's women see men, and that it is in fact universal. Ladies, I know you think men are blind, that we don't see these videos for what they are. Well, darlings, I hate to break it to you, but we men do see them, and we also see how you react to them. We see how you like and share and comment on them, and we see the hatred and the misandry you all display on them. We see how you have no problems with these videos dismissing and demeaning men. Indeed, all men, but especially the ones you claim to love, claim to care about. And while many of you want to claim, that's not me, you sit there in silent support. Your silence is your complicity, ladies. So the next time you're curled up on the couch, 4 glasses of boxed wine in, desperately trying to fill the void of loneliness you're feeling by trying to get that same love and affection from your cat, and wondering why no man wants you, no man will approach you, no man will even talk to you, realize that it's largely videos like this one that you've all cheered on, that you clicked like on, that you commented on because it hit your feels to do so. This is one of the biggest reasons why men are done and walking away. Men see these videos too and say to themselves, well, if these women hate men as much as they obviously do, then why should I bother? And then those men go and enjoy life, avoiding your toxicity, avoiding your misandry, and avoiding your hate. And ultimately, in the end, avoiding you.
No offense to men, but it gets to a point where it's like, baby, you are too fine to be afraid to talk to women. I'm laughing because it's actually like funny, but it's not funny. Like, I recognize that it's probably really difficult for some men to talk to girls because, like, I don't know, women are scary because we're so hot. But like, you actually are hot too. And if you're hot, why are you afraid to talk to women?
So to point out the obvious, right? It's a notion saying men should leave women alone. That's obvious. That's been going on for years. Boom, we got that. The thing is, a lot of men don't know they look good. A lot of men have not been validated, so they don't understand that they actually look good. They don't have the confidence to say, you know what, I'm a good-looking guy, she's a good-looking woman, let me approach because I have that confidence. It hasn't been instilled in them, and if it is instilled in them, they don't believe it themselves. But then on the flip side, a lot of men have divested. They just say they gave up. Dating, relationships, courting, approaching, whatever, shooting a shot. A lot of men have just given up. They took themselves out of the race, which lets them know that, you know what, everything that the woman has said negatively, they think about themselves as well, or they just got exhausted from everything, from hearing, leave us alone, to approach. It's like ping pong, going back and forth, and they can't decide which one to do. So they just completely quit the game. I understand that one. As far as approaching women, men like and understand very obvious choosing signals, which a lot of women do not give. They give a little, and that's it, or a little smile, and that's it. A lot of men ain't approaching them for that. So the choosing signals are not as strong as majority of men would like them to be. It usually has nothing to do with y'all being attractive. It's that men have been sucked into this notion of, she don't like me, she wouldn't like me. They're self-sabotaging before they even make the attempt because of everything they probably experienced, probably everything they heard or seen on social media or in real life. So men had just take themselves out. F it. Why do I need her? Why does she need me? I'm better off without her. I'm sure she's better off without me. That's the mindset of most men. So to completely answer your question, if these hot men or good-looking men aren't approaching women like you say, and you consider yourself liking that man, make it more obvious. I'm not saying approach, but make it more obvious. Put it in his face. Put it in his circumference. Something. Because a lot of men are clueless on this. And a lot of men just don't give a anymore. Love.
I can understand why men have given up dating, because can someone make it make sense for me how these women want men to text them back fast, but not too fast, that it's too creepy. They want men to make 6 figures while working 20 hours a week while they still have quality time with them. You know, if he has a good relationship with his mom, then that means he treats women well. But if he doesn't have a relationship with his mom, then that means he's automatically, but then she doesn't want to ever talk about her daddy issues. If he's too nice and too kind, then that means that he wants something from you, or, you know, there's an assumption that he's just buying you gifts and whining and dining you because he wants. But if he doesn't wine and dine you, then he's lazy, he doesn't care, and he's not putting in enough effort. You want men to lead, but you don't want to listen. You want men to show their masculinity and take charge and plan dates, but not too much masculinity that he comes off as aggressive, mean, rude, or condescending. You want men to be in tune with your emotions, but if he's too emotional, then he's weak and you don't trust him to make decisions and lead. He has to be attractive, but not too attractive that he looks like a fuckboy or somebody that gets around, because if he's too attractive, then he has too many options. But if he's not attractive enough, then you're not even looking in his direction. If he has a child and a baby mom, then you automatically assume that, you know, what baby mom would want to be single, and that makes him toxic. But if he's never been married or in a committed relationship, then that also makes him toxic, and that's a red flag because he's never been in a relationship before. You want men to initiate the dating stages of a relationship. You want men to initiate, but then when he stops initiating, then you assume that he's cheating on you. You want men to be honest and open and upfront, but your idea of honest and open and upfront is basically him telling you only the truth that validate your feelings and your experiences, because the moment that he invalidates how you feel, now he's narcissistic, and he is mentally and emotionally using you and you. These women will always say that they want men to be themselves and be authentic to who they are, but then there's an entire list of icks, like wearing sandals at, in winter, or him just getting coffee, or him getting sepsis, and you think it's funny and you're posting it on social media, but the moment that he posts an ugly picture of you on social media, now he's a piece of crap and he's picked the wrong picture, and now you feel bad about yourself. If he dresses well and he takes care of himself, then he's too feminine and he's trying to show off. But if he doesn't dress well enough and he doesn't show off and he just dresses average, then he looks like a broke loser bum, and you want nothing to do with him. You want that man to have hobbies like going to play golf or gaming, but if he games too much or plays golf too much or it inconveniences your lifestyle or what you have going on, now you're pissed off. But if he doesn't have any hobbies, then he's a loser because he's too obsessed with you. But if he has too many hobbies and takes away time from you, then he doesn't care enough. If a man respects a woman's boundaries, then he's being too creepy because he's just too good of a man. But if he doesn't respect her boundaries, then he's likely to use her or SA her later on down the road. If a man speaks loud, then that means that he's aggressive. If he speaks too soft, then that means he's too feminine. Men expect constant attention and praise all of the time. So if you give too much, then you're trying too hard. But if you give too little, then you're a lazy bum and you don't match the guys in her DMs. These women don't want men to be manipulative or liars or cheaters, but they'll turn around and show their butt cheeks online and call it, body positivity to basically cheat on you and be narcissistic, but then it's still all of your fault. The sad reality is that you could give a woman everything that she could ever dream of: the house, the money, the cars, the emotional stability. You could provide, you could protect, you could check all of the boxes down the list. And guess what? She's going to turn around and say that she's bored, she's uninspired, she's not attracted to you. She's going to cheat on you with the next guy down the street who has no job, all because Susie Q has a better life on Instagram. But not only that, when she says that she's unhappy, she's going to get online and talk about how you're a narcissist, how you're even though you gave her everything that she could ever want, and every single step of the way that the goalpost changed or the expectation, especially unrealistic expectations, changed, you gave it to her and it still wasn't enough. So yeah, if anyone is ever wondering why men have stopped dating, this is a perfect example, because even as a woman, if you really sit back and look at it, it's so unrealistic and it's so delusional and it's so narcissistic that who the hell would want to put themselves through this? And it makes sense when you really think about it, because none of it actually makes sense. Women don't actually know what they want. They love the highs and lows of being incompatible with the wrong people instead of just being at peace, and then they blame the men for the unfulfillment and the lack of peace within their lives, even though they're the ones creating this diabolical cycle over and over with different men. Okay, bye.
Modern men are not stepping up anymore, and it frustrates women. Women want men to step up, to become men again, to be masculine, to pursue, to protect her, to provide, to be a man so she can finally feel like a woman again. But here's the truth. Those men are still there. The thing is that these men have gone quiet. These men are not weak. These men are not scared. These men are just tired. That sounds like a poem. I didn't mean to make that sound like a poem. Men are tired of walking into emotional traps of women, only to be punished for their efforts. If you want to understand why men have stopped pursuing women, I am going to talk about that in this video, and what you as man or as woman can do to help rebalance that. Because in order to find happiness again and to find each other again in connection, both sides need to take responsibility and both sides have healing to do to meet each other again in respect and understanding. And this is why I make these videos. Now let's be real. In the past, a man would just walk up to a woman, make conversation, offer her some help, or show his interest, even if nothing came from it. But it was met with respect, with kindness. It was seen as a compliment. Now fast forward to our current day and age and our current dating environment. An act like that could easily result in a TikTok video titled, "I got approached by a creepy guy in the gym." Let's get some stats. According to a 2023 Pew Research study, 63% of single men say they no longer feel comfortable approaching women in public. That's shocking to me. And this is not because they're shy. It is because men are afraid to be misinterpreted and humiliated. Humiliated in public and even worse, online. And here's the kicker. Women now go online and say, "Where's all the confident men? Why won't anyone help me with my suitcase no more? Why don't men flirt anymore or approach me?" So what has changed? Well, in this video, I'm gonna unpack 3 points on what has changed and what women and men can do to rectify this. Point number 1, mixed signals and selective outrage. Point number 2, how effort is now being punished instead of rewarded. And number 3, what both men and women can do to repair the balance. Let's get straight into the first point, mixed signals. Mixed signals are everywhere. Now here's a girl, full glam, full-on diva, and she posts about how no man helped her lift her bag in the overhead carriage on the plane. And she says, "Where are the men? Chivalry is dead." However, everything about her posture in the video says, "Leave me alone. I can do it myself." Just closed off, not open, very defensive. You see the disconnect? This is because the woman looks unapproachable. So why would a man choose to approach her if she looks closed off? If everything about her screams, "Don't touch me, don't come near me," but on the other hand, looks very feminine and thinks that will pull in men to help her, well, it's all about energy. It's all about attitude. And we women need to understand that it is about having a welcoming and receptive energy. That is when men will approach you because you look safe to approach. You look interested in being approached by a man. And sadly, many women adopt this stance because they want to seem like they don't need anyone. They're strong women. They're independent. They don't need a man to help them out. But in the meantime, they do want that validation. They do want that connection. And they do want to be seen by a man. So if this is you and this is what you experience, please look at yourself and see if you have an energy that seems closed off, that is not welcoming to people around you or inviting, kind, or open. And this kind of behavior is very confusing for men because women are complaining about that men are not being chivalrous anymore, but it is the stance that you have. It is the attitude that you have. If you have a closed off or defensive or even aggressive energy, no one will come and help you. No one will come and offer you help. You don't want to approach a person who seems to communicate like, don't connect with me. Don't come near me. If you come near me, I will scream or I will call you a creep. And then when people don't approach you, you complain about it. Do you see the dichotomy here? And this is what a lot of women don't understand. They complain that men don't approach you, but meanwhile, you have a frown that reaches about to your navel. Do you think that anyone wants to approach you when you look grumpy or defensive? Of course not. And then on the other hand, when you have a brave man who does approach you, they're called creeps. They're being called stalkers. They go under the number of a gym harasser. Oh, a man harassed me in the gym. And this kind of crooked behavior is seen everywhere. It's not just on airplanes or in a gym or in the shop where a woman wants help but has this defensive demeanor. It's everywhere. And if this is what you experience, you need to work on yourself. You need to heal yourself because there's something misaligned about your energy. And you need to look at that and not blame that on men.
And probably one of the things that you won't hear these modern women doing is taking accountability for the conditions that they created in the dating market, for the conditions that they contributed to as a reason why men are opting out in a lot of these relationships. Of course, you know, they're not going to take responsibility for it, but it is what it is.